I'm Bree.
And I'm Jamie. Tell us about that one time.
Hey!
Hello, everybody. Welcome. We have a very early edition of Abduction Hotline. I feel like we always do Abduction Hotline late at night. It's like when you call in, you tell the stories. But today we have a nice middle of the day one. So I'm super excited about it. So Bree, why don't you go ahead and introduce our guest?
Our next guest is Josh Casey. You guys might recognize him from the Trippy Times podcast. And we've been wanting to talk to him for a while because I'm sure if you guys know him, he is full of experiences. He's quite an experiencer. So we're pretty excited to get him on the show today and learn everything that we can about this lovely man.
So welcome, Josh, to the
Surprise!
show. Surprise!
Hi. Hey. How's y'all doing?
Hello. We are so wonderful. We're really excited to hear you and your story. Me and Bree both heard a little bit of your story on Sunny's podcast. And I know Bree was like, she came to me and she was like, oh my God, Jamie, we have to talk to Josh. I love his story. I love his enthusiasm and his passion. And his story is so fantastic that we have to talk about it with him.
Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. I was like, ooh, I'm on the same page. So where would you like to begin?
I usually start at my near-death experience, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that makes sense. All right.
And I'm a former skeptic. I just want to put that out there.
I think we're all former skeptics, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I was a hardcore former skeptic. Even the very first sighting I had was like 5 or 6 years ago at the Cape Fear River, where people who know Chris Bledsoe, that's where he had his experience. And I'm pretty close with the Bledsoe family. But I was in denial about it for about 5 years. I just didn't know how to wrap my head around it. And I saw it with my best friend who I had the near-death experience with, actually. We were both hit by a drunk driver.
Oh my gosh.
So, you want me to go ahead and get into that?
Yeah, of course.
Absolutely.
Okay. About a month after I graduated high school, I was driving with my best friend, his little sister, and we were going to his house. And I need to add in that we spoke to a military recruiter, like about an hour or so before we got hit by this drunk driver. But we were going to his house, and we were about 100 yards from pulling into the driveway. And for some reason, and this is the thing that blows everybody's mind, it blows my mind too. I leaned my seat back and I put both my feet out the passenger window. I just crossed my legs and leaned the seat back, and a few minutes or maybe even seconds, I heard my best friend, he goes, "Oh shit." And I look at him and he's gripping the steering wheel and his eyes are, big. And I look forward and for like a split second, I see this big white pickup truck and everything just went black after that. And next thing I know, I wake up and I don't know what's going on. I'm spitting out some of my teeth. Both my legs are pulled all the way. My knees are pulled up to my chest, actually. And this arm right here is pushed all the way up against my face. And I didn't feel any pain. Like they say, your pain receptors just shut down sometimes if you feel too much. So I really thought I was dreaming for a second. And I remember sitting there really trying to like figure out where I was and what was going on. And then I realized, I'm stuck in this car, we got hit. And I just remember sitting there thinking to myself, I get chills whenever I say this part right here. A lot of people talk about whenever they have a near-death experience that they see like a tunnel, a white light, or they're coming out of their body.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't experience that, but what I did experience was it felt like time slowed down. Like, really slowed down. And it's almost like I was watching a movie from, I want to say outside my body, but I wasn't literally outside my body. Just everything felt so surreal, And I really remember thinking to myself, like, this is it. I'm not going to make it out of this. And my best friend, he tells me he's over there. He broke his femur bone, and shattered his kneecap. And I remember him looking at me and telling me, they're going to get me out. It's going to be okay. And I just thought to myself that this is it, And I actually told my best friend, I'm not going to make it. It's okay. And I mean, I literally told him it's okay. And I just remember seeing the panic on his face, And I really remember thinking to myself, like it's like so vivid, like it's like HD, like more realistic than actual reality, I guess. And I just remember seeing like that emotion on his face, him panicking, whenever I told him that. But I only remember like bits and pieces of actually being in the car, but I was stuck in the vehicle for an hour and a half, and they were cutting me out, and my family, almost all of my family that lived there, my mother, my father, my sisters, my uncle, just brother-in-law, just a lot of people, and my best friend's parents too, because they were 100 yards down the road, and they saw the truck flying by, and they heard a huge bang. They thought the truck had hit the bridge down there. Excuse me. They run down, his parents, and run up to us, and his parents had told me, they didn't realize until they got right up to the vehicle that, like, holy shit, that's their vehicle and that's their kids and me in it. And yeah, I just remember whenever I told my best friend that I wasn't going to make it, his mother actually almost fainted. Um, I remember that. I remember seeing her eyes look like they're about to like roll in the back of her head. But the firefighter started cutting me out, and like I said, it's bits and pieces, but it's really vivid. But I remember actually asking this firefighter, am I gonna make it? And when I asked him if I was gonna die, he said no on my watch. I remember that so perfect. And then they the last thing I remember was them pulling me out. And this is after, they got earmuffs on me and glasses, and they're cutting and there's sparks flying everywhere, and they had to pull the whole entire top of the vehicle, cut the whole entire top of the car off. But whenever they pulled me out, I remember looking down for a moment, and my right foot, I'm gonna sugarcoat this a little bit because it's pretty graphic, but my toes were pointing behind me. My foot was like twisted all the way around, and it looked like it was just barely hanging on. It was severed more than halfway through. And when I say severed, I don't mean like cut. I mean like torn off. Um, yeah, it's pretty graphic. But the thing that still blows my mind to this day is, for one, I don't think I've ever put my feet out of a vehicle in my life. I can't remember any time that I've done that. And like I said, I did it right before we got hit. I found out afterwards, and I even got pictures of the vehicle, that the dashboard glove compartment was pushed all the way up against me. And it turned out if my feet would have been inside the vehicle, both my legs would have been totally crushed. And yeah, they actually asked me, did you pull your legs up whenever you saw the truck coming? And I'm like, no, I didn't see the truck coming. And after that, I woke up a week later, was in a coma. They actually flew me on a helicopter to Chapel Hill on life support. And yeah, so I've got 7 screws in my ankle. I broke my right leg. My thumb was almost cut off as well, and I broke almost every finger in my hand. My jaw was completely shattered. I have 3 plates in my jaw, and my right arm was also shattered. I have a titanium rod going all the way up my arm right here, and a huge scar that goes all the way down. I'm sorry, I know it's really graphic, but
no, you have to talk about, like, it happened to you, like, as graphic as it is, like, this was a reality of your life, and you have to talk about it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and so I was in the hospital for a month afterwards. My jaw was wired shut for 4 months, and I'd eat everything through a straw. I lost like 35 pounds within a month.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I look like a skeleton. Got this so bad.
I was like, you're like a naturally kind of thin person. Like you weren't heavy at the time, were you? Yeah.
Oh no, actually, back then I was really into working out. So I'm trying to get back into it now, but I was almost 200 pounds, and I was I'm not gonna say I was bulky, but I was in really good shape.
But you were built, yeah.
Yeah, but still kind of slim, but I lost all of that muscle, within a month. And yeah, so
Can I ask when
yes.
when that happened, were you at all afraid? Because you said that you told your friend, "I'm not gonna make it, it's okay."
It's okay,
It
yeah.
sounds very calm to say that, or were you more hysterical? I'm sure
I was
having
gonna
all your
say
family there would add intensity to all of that.
yeah, no, actually, that's just crazy. I mean, I do remember when I first, realized what was going on. I'm like, holy shit, this is bad, it's really happening. But that's what's really crazy about it. I felt it's gonna sound weird, but I felt like I was accepting it. Like I felt
Mhm.
okay. And I when I say this, I literally mean I really remember thinking to myself, what's about to happen next? Like after I was accepting that, this is it. I remember thinking to myself, what's going to happen after, I leave here. And and before this happened, I was really conflicted on whether I can believe in an afterlife or anything. But I felt at peace. I don't know why or how to explain it really, but I remember when I told my friend, that this is okay, I started feeling this warmness, like this heat, but it wasn't bad, it was like almost soothing. And I know that sounds really strange, but that's whenever I remember just thinking, it's going to be okay. Whatever happens after I leave here, it's going to be all right. And I remember thinking to myself, am I going to go to hell? It's so strange, but I really remember thinking it, and I thought afterwards, no, I'm not a bad person. That's whenever I was telling myself, it's going to be okay, whatever happens.
Wow.
Um, did you want to ask anything else about that? Because there's something else that I need to add to that.
No, keep going. Yeah, please.
Okay, so when I told the story, I kind of jumped back and forth in time, just because that's just the way that it's easier for me to explain.
Mm-hmm.
So almost exactly a year before I got hit by this truck driver, I had an experience which I just recently found out. I'd been thinking this, like the past year, that it could be possibly astral projection, and I didn't even know what that was back then. So and I found out from Preston Bennett. Actually, he was on my show. He's my second guest, and whenever I explained everything to him about this, he said it sounds exactly like the astral projection. So and when I say it was almost a year before, I mean it's three days from exactly a year. I know that because I wrote down this dream. I wrote down every detail of it. So I come home one day and I was working out really hard. I was, just exhausted. As soon as I walk in, I laid down on my couch in my living room. And I remember waking up, and when I stood up, got up off the couch, I immediately fell straight to the floor. I had this like horrible, intense vertigo. And I mean, like my head was just spinning, and it was like a throbbing, sensation. And I mean, it felt physical. Like I still remember today exactly how that felt. That's why I've always thought that whenever I fell to the floor, I realized I wasn't dreaming. Obviously, sorry, but I mean, I wasn't awake. Sorry. So I stand up and I'm pounding. I mean, my my head is pounding. I'm sorry,
No,
and I
you're
have to
okay.
actually I get tongue tied sometimes. So I actually have to use the walls to hold myself up. Prop myself up, and I'm trying to get to the back of my house to my what was my old bedroom at the time. And I used to leave this detail out because it's really creepy, and this is actually a really positive experience for me. And I just used to not like to talk about this part because it kind of just weirded me out. I told like Chad Smith and a couple people this privately, and oh, it's really weird. So whenever I first stood up and I was trying to get to the back of my room, my head is spinning. There was this person in my living room, and he looked like one of my friends at the time, but he wasn't my friend. And I noticed because he was just standing there completely still. He had no emotion whatsoever on his face, and his eyes were like solid black, just creepy as hell. And recently, people have been telling me about like black-eyed children and stuff like that, and I've never heard of anything like that. But it's just like he's observing me. So weird. I
Mm.
remember when I was holding myself up on the wall. I remember looking at him, and it's like he made direct eye contact with me. it's just like he was staring straight into my soul. It's so fucking weird. I get chills right now talking about it.
So it looked like him, but it didn't feel like him.
Exactly. Yeah.
Mm.
And
So,
he's yeah.
and I feel like if it was genuinely him, like you would have been able to feel him,
Oh, it
and
was
not
not
just
me.
like he could have looked like anything, and you probably would have been able to feel his presence. So like the
Yeah.
looking like and then not connecting with is alarming.
Yeah.
Were you like frightened by that feeling though? Or were you just like, this is weird? Or were you like, this thing is evil, get away from me?
I just remembered for some reason I felt this urge to get to my bedroom, and whenever I
Ah.
I locked eye contact with him, I do remember thinking, you know, like, what in the hell is that? You know, it's not my friend. And like I said, he stood just dead still. And so Preston Dennett, whenever I was telling him about this as well, he was telling me about God, I can't remember what it's called, but how there's stories of things. Um, you know, he said it could have been like an evil spirit, or it could have been even something extraterrestrial, extra dimensional, and it was just using that as, you know, like a, I
Like a
can't remember the word.
mask.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. He's another word. I can't remember what he called it. But, so yeah, I go to the kitchen, you know, get back to my bedroom, and my head is still pounding, spinning the whole time. And whenever I get to the door that was my old bedroom, I open this door, and immediately my head stopped spinning. And I felt fine, but I was not in my bedroom. It was this huge empty box room, kind of like a garage. And I need to add in that this dream was linear. You know, my dreams are always a scattered mess, you know, just random bits of stuff. This dream I remember like step by step. It wasn't like a dream. It's like I was living through this experience, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And even, you know, for like the past, you know, 10 years, you know, before I believed in any of this other stuff, I always thought that was more than a dream, just because of how realistic it felt. So I get into this big empty box room, and there's a man sitting in a fold out steel chair, and he's got a chair in front of him facing him like he's waiting for me. And he has white hair, he has a hat on, has a button up shirt that's tucked in, and jeans and boots. And my head stopped spinning. I was confused, but you know, I guess I don't know why I sat in front of him. I could tell that he was waiting for me, and I do remember thinking to myself, like, you know, what is this? What's going on? And I just sat down in front of him really slow, and he just looked at me, and he crossed his legs, and he said, "It's really nice to meet you. I've heard a lot about you." And then he nodded his head like that to the back. There was a door in the back of the room behind him. He said, "There's somebody who wants to see you." And I don't say any word to him, and I don't recognize this man. I don't know who he was. So I get up and I walk to the back of the room, and whenever I go through this door, immediately I'm immediately I'm in front of my grandparents' house, and it's, you know, everything is so, like I said earlier, like really HD, really, I mean, so high definition. I don't know how to explain this, but it's like the colors were so vibrant, like the green grass, the sky, everything. It's like it was like the grass is like it was more green than actual green, if that makes any
Mm-hmm.
sense.
No, absolutely.
Um, and everything just like I felt like all my senses were dialed up to 11. Like that's the other reason I just never thought that this was a real dream, because I remember feeling, you know, like whenever I walked out this door, and as soon as I, you know, was transported in front of my grandparents' house, I remember like feeling my eyes water up for a second because the sun, you know, just was really bright.
Oh,
And the house,
like a dream.
um, and the house was painted the same color that was when my grandfather was alive. And my grandfather, he passed away whenever I was like 8 or 9 years old,
Mm-hmm.
and we were really close. You know, everybody said that I was his favorite grandchild, even though he wouldn't say that, you know. But I think
Mm-hmm.
it's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
But I remember walking up to this door. He said, "Yeah, somebody else just said that same thing down there, the DMC thing, from like just like a couple days ago. It's weird." Um, so I walk up to his door, and whenever I knock on the door, I already knew. I don't know why, but like I knew that my grandfather was going to answer the door. Like I
Yeah.
knew it. And I knock on the door, and like sure enough, as soon as I knock, he opens up the door. Like he already knew I was coming. And I tell people this, that in this dream, when I saw him, I can remember him better from this dream than I actually do as a child. it's like she was right there in front of me. It's so
Mm-hmm.
realistic. And I tried to say something to him, and my voice just started cracking on up, and I was about to break down. I was just so emotional. I can't explain it the way that I felt. And he just gives me a hug, and he tells me everything's going to be okay. And I wake up, and whenever I woke up, everything okay? Sorry.
Yeah, you're good.
So whenever I wake up, it felt like electricity was running through my body. I mean, I remember feeling it felt like I was in shock, really, just and it was like a mix of emotions, like kind of freaked out, but at the same time, I was really, I guess just grateful, like humble that I actually got to see my grandfather. And I stand up and I'm just like, what the hell was that? And it turned out I was only asleep for like a few minutes. That's what another
Oh,
thing that
that's
was
always
really weird.
wild about that kind of
So
stuff.
weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, like not even 5 or 10 minutes. I remember looking at my phone and I'm like, what the hell? Like, 'cause that
And it
dream has
felt like
felt
a
like
lifetime when you were in there, right?
it felt like at least an hour, or maybe not an hour, but it felt like way longer than the
Mm-hmm.
five ten
Mm-hmm.
minutes when I was actually asleep.
Yeah.
So that weirds me out. But I go looking, for somebody to tell. My little sister, she's outside on the porch. I start telling her, and she just looks at me like I'm crazy. I go back inside and I go to my mother,
Mm-hmm.
and my mother's half Blackfoot Native American.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a quarter, and she's always been really big into dreams. I mean, she has dream
Mm-hmm.
catchers
Mm-hmm.
all over her walls. And when I start telling her, she could tell just by the way that I was acting that something happened to me. And I started telling her, and she's actually like getting kind of emotional whenever I'm telling her about it, because it's her father that I hugged. But what really caught her off guard was the man that was in the chair, sitting there waiting for me. The guy who said it was nice to meet me, and
Mm-hmm.
she asked me again to explain this guy. And whenever I explained it to her, like she didn't even say anything. She just grabbed the phone and she called my grandmother. And my grandmother, that's the one whose house I was in whenever I knocked on the door. She's still alive today. And it this I don't know how to explain this. So my great grandfather, I've never seen him. I've never seen a picture of him. My mother told me that sounded exactly like my great grandfather, and he was killed about a month or two before I was born. Some robbers broke into his house and they killed him. And so my mother and my grandmother, they're talking on the phone. They had told me my entire life, and I just thought this was like a nice story. Um, I never thought about the fact that nobody else in my family has a story like this. That the day that I was born, um, not even 24 hours old, they're in the hospital with me. They said it got really eerie and quiet, and they saw an apparition of my great grandfather, and it was such a shock. Like my mother, she almost started crying. It blew her mind.
Yeah.
And they tell me that they saw my great grandfather in me. I don't know. Excuse me. I don't know what that means, how to explain that, and they don't either. My mother just says, "I don't know, Josh. Like, he was there. He was in you." So they told me my whole life that he's my like guardian angel. And I always thought it was a nice story, but now I look at it a whole lot different, obviously.
Completely differently now.
For
Yeah.
sure.
Hmm.
Wow.
So yeah,
That
I know
intense.
that was a lot. um,
No, but what's
yeah.
interesting about the story and the way that you tell it too is like when you started telling the story, it was a completely different path and a journey. And I think the longer that you go on and the more that you delve into the subject, the more connections that you start to make. And
Mhm.
it happens over time and you become very you start to become more aware, because that kind of happened for me and
Yeah.
Bree. Like we thought about our experiences as very surface, and then the more and more we researched into the topic and had conversations with people, the more and more we realized that it went back a lot farther than we thought it did, and
Mhm.
that these phenomenons maybe have been with us a lot longer than we are consciously aware of at the time.
Definitely.
Wow. That's pretty
Um,
heavy stuff.
do y'all know Barbara Jean Lindsay? You heard of her?
No.
Yes.
She's awesome. She's gonna be on my channel on Valentine's Day.
Oh,
She
cool.
is
Oh,
she
nice.
she has told me that or she asked me, have I ever thought that maybe I could like I could be reincarnated, I guess, from my great grandfather, and I never thought about that.
Oh.
It's just something that she put out there.
Yeah, because he died,
Um,
what, a few months before you were born. So
mhm.
that's the timeline is a huge possibility.
Yeah, and the fact that I saw the apparition, and he was just really, closed off kind of person. So I've never seen a picture of him or anything. But
Yeah.
my mother told me that day, she's like, he always wore a hat. He tucked his shirt in. He had white hair. It's just pretty spot on.
Yeah,
Um,
that's crazy.
yeah, and then I think about him telling me it's going to be okay, and then the fact that it was almost exactly a year afterwards that I had that near death experience. So
Yeah. And then your mom seeing his presence inside the hospital, like it's so much more connected the more you dig into it and the more you're talking about these. And it's interesting too because you say that there's parts of these stories that you don't talk about, but the parts of the story that you don't talk about as much are the parts that kind of link it all together and kind of have this thread go through it.
yeah, and so like the black eyed being whatever, um, like I said, I've left that out for like 10 years. I've told people this story, but I always left that part out just because it creeped me out. And
Yeah.
Preston was telling me that the fact that my head was spinning and I had that vertigo, that maybe whenever I woke up, I was kind of like in a in between state. Um, if that makes any sense. I
No, it
guess like
does. And it sounds like the act of like you going through to your room and it being that other space is like you were pulling yourself out of that and going to that other side.
yeah, that's exactly what he said. And like I was going up levels or something, and the fact that when I told him when I was in front of my grandparents' house, like how vibrant everything was, like super HD. He said other people have said stuff like that whenever they have, like astral projections and stuff. And that's somebody else just told me the DMT thing the other day. But yeah, it's weird, like how I didn't piece all this together until here recently when I just started linking things up.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a crazy way to start it. So can you tell us about like, okay, so that was kind of like the very beginning, but when was your first like conscious UFO experience that kind of kicked off the chain of events that made you understand that all these things were connected and there was a bigger picture happening? Oh, I think you froze my
Okay.
Josh. Oh, there you are.
Anything? Okay. Um. So, okay. First, I need to I need to tell you one thing real quick.
Yeah, please.
Even before I started having these sightings, I've had a lot of synchronicities, and
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know what synchronicities were until about a couple of years ago or so. Um. So this I still don't know. I don't know. It used to make me mad, to be honest. I used to tell people it was like God had a cool sense of humor or something. So the man that hit me today, I mean, like right now, um, he lives across the street from my mother, and
Whoa.
yeah, and my mother didn't. I know it's like some shovel movie, and still lives there today, and she didn't move there until like 5 years after my accident, and she
Wow.
didn't she didn't even realize it at first,
By
and
accident.
No,
yeah,
nothing is a coincidence.
yeah. Um, so sorry, what did your
It
outlook
says
change after your experience, positively or negatively? So the dream, I always that changed my entire life, really, seeing my grandfather. But I didn't believe in any of the other stuff, like as far as like paranormal. See, I just thought it was, like my grandfather came to me in a dream or something, or I
mm-hmm.
learned about like lucid dreaming and stuff. So I thought maybe that was it. I didn't know anything about astral projection, but that definitely changed me. I mean, like the same day I had a dream, I wrote it down, like every little detail, and yeah, it it is extremely pivotal. So I don't want to get into too much detail about Um, so I tell people like the first 4 or 5 years after my accident, I um I was going through a lot of really um so I'm sorry. I spent 6 months in a wheelchair after I got hit by that drunk driver, and I had to go through another year of physical therapy. I had to literally learn how to walk again. And at first I was just extremely I was dedicated, to like prove my doctor wrong. Because like my doctor told me that I would be in a wheelchair for at least a year, and that I'll probably be on a cane if I didn't get my ankle fused within a few years. And I never got my ankle fused because you can't undo that. And I'm actually trying to get an ankle replacement. I've been looking into that, and it's just really complex. It's a lot harder than like a knee or a hip replacement. But today the medical science is a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
So I told him no. I'm going to wait and see if medical science gets better, and one day I can get an ankle replacement. And he told me back then it's a bad decision. You're gonna be on a cane within a few years, and it's been 11 years today, and I'm not on a cane or anything. I mean my ankle, I feel pain all the time, but I can bear it. I got really into quantum physics, like the whole consciousness stuff. Like I was trying to focus on like mind over matter. The whole to deal with my pain really is the reason. And sometimes I think that's what made me a little more open minded to accepting the things that I'm experiencing now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but After I went through all that physical therapy and learned to walk again, I started getting really um, depressed just because I didn't heal the way I wanted to. I was still in pain.
Yeah.
And I felt like my life was taken away from me pretty much. And
Mm-hmm.
I struggled with depression. I struggled with addiction. I've overcome that though. Um, so I went to like those 4 or 5 years that were really dark and negative, and just I had a lot of anger built up inside of me, I guess. And I remember one day going to my mother's house, and after she had moved across the street from the guy who almost killed me, and just being so pissed off that I had to see his house every day. Because this guy, whenever he hit us, he fled the scene. He ran away and left us there for dead. Um, all of me, yeah. And his truck, he hit us and flipped over us, and all yeah was a crack. I can't remember what that's called here. He just like cracked his ribs or whatever that is. And he ended up he had a lot of money. He was actually running for um senator of Robeson County here in North Carolina. Now
Wow.
his career got ruined after that. It was on the newspaper and everything. But whenever he fled and left us there, he ended up getting a lawyer and got all his assets moved where it looked like he owned nothing. So pretty much we got like the smallest amount of settlement that we possibly could. Just fucked us over really bad. And um, I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say I spent all that money like wisely because I was really going through some bad stuff back then. I did buy some land, and I own land here in North
Nice.
Carolina. Yeah,
See, well,
that's
that's
like
good. Yeah.
yeah.
The one good thing that you have
Yeah.
is you have this little chunk of land that you have. That's really nice, though.
Sounds like
Yeah.
Dark Knight of the Soul to me.
Mm-hmm.
Sound like what?
Sounds like Dark Knight of the Soul.
I'm not
That
sure what that is.
happens. A Dark Night of the Soul, you can have many, but it's sort of a period of time during certain spiritual awakenings. A part
Oh
of
yeah.
being spiritual or awakening to that is also being aware of your shadow self, your darker parts. So sometimes we go through periods where we're kind of sitting in that. It's like the deeper shadow part of you has become manifest, and it feels
Mm-hmm.
like you're down in the dumps, but it always seems to happen in between periods of high spiritual
Mm-hmm.
awareness.
100%. I've had several in my life.
It's like you're on the roller coaster, and that's the down, but it usually there's
Mm-hmm.
always coming back up.
Yep, that's exactly what I was about to tell you. And you were saying about shadow stuff. I don't know if y'all noticed, but I've had an experience with a shadow figure. Can't really say I enjoyed that. Kind of freaked me out, to be honest. I'd never
Yeah,
even heard of it.
no. Yeah, I haven't had a lot of people tell us positive stories about shadow figures, so I think that that's in line with shadow figures.
Yeah, well, I didn't feel threatened or anything.
That's
It
good.
just it caught me off guard, and it being in my house, it just kind of weirded me out.
Yeah.
Um, I kept trying to tell myself it didn't happen, but it was so realistic. And also, y'all know about the video I sent you of my experience at Chris Bledsoe's. This was just a few days after.
Yeah, I
It was
have
right
it.
after that. Um, so real quick, I need to what you were just talking about, the Shadow of the Soul thing. Whenever I was going to my mother's house this day when I was battling all these negative emotions, I remember I was working night shift and I just told myself I'm gonna go talk to my mother. I need to get some stuff off my mind. And when I rode over there, I just he still has he has a nice house, like 2-story house across the street from my mother, and he is not struggling at all. Still has a lot of money, and it just pissed me off. And I pulled my car over to the side of the road, and I don't know what made me do this, but I pulled a piece of scrap paper out of my glove compartment, and I thought I was just doing this for myself, like just some closure kind of thing. I wrote down that I wasn't going to let these negative emotions control me anymore,
Yeah.
and I was going to let go of this anger. And I used to leave out this part, but I'm going to include it. It was really bizarre. There was a lot of clouds up in the sky. It was really cloudy, and it looked like a hole or like a part opened up in the clouds, and the sun. It's like a beam of light came straight down, and it was like, hitting my car. And I just remember looking straight up at it, and I got this weird feeling, and I looked to the left, and the guy who almost killed me, he was outside in his yard feeding his chickens. And instead of going to the right, I remember thinking to myself, on the right side of me, I got the person who gave me life, and the left side, the person almost took away my life. I ended up pulling up in his driveway, and it's like something took over me. I just got out my car and I walked up to him, and I swear to God, I shook the hand of the guy who almost killed me, and I handed him this letter. And I didn't say much to him. I didn't wait around. I just handed it to him, and I told him this is something I needed to do. And whenever I turned around to walk back to my car, I don't mean to like sound really emotional or anything, but
No, it's
I
okay.
felt like I got like 100 demons off of me in one moment, and it just like I had tears just coming down. It just I don't know. It changed me. It really did. And
Yeah.
after that, I started doing so much better in my life. I ended up joining the fire department. One of the fire departments that actually cut me out of the vehicle, actually. We were on the county line, so there was 3 fire departments that came to my accident. And yeah, and I met,
Wow.
yeah, I actually used to work with the firefighter who pulled me out of the vehicle. I know him. Um, yeah, I
That's
served on the fire department
amazing.
for 4 years. Yeah, and I had everybody ask me, like you went through such a bad experience, you got mangled up, almost died. Like, why would you want to join the fire department and put yourself in that
No.
position? Because you know,
I
firefighters see some really bad stuff a lot of time, But
mm-hmm.
I told everybody I felt like I was giving back, like they saved me, so I wanted to do something to help other people, I guess. And yeah, it was that same year, the same summer that I handed that guy the letter. That's whenever I had my first sighting, and I didn't piece that together until I spoke with Chris Bledsoe
Mm-hmm.
and telling him about it. Um, so I was at the Cape River, and I mean, do y'all have any questions, or you want me to get into the sighting now? I'm sorry, I know
No,
that was a
get
lot.
into it. No, get into it, please. Trust me. Bree's writing down questions as we go.
If I get any, yeah.
Okay. So yeah, me and my best friend, same one that was with me whenever we got hit by the drunk driver, we're at the Cape Fear River and we're fishing, and he said something about this big bright star that was up in the sky. And at the time, I remember making a joke. I was like, "Man, I don't know. It's probably fucking Jupiter or Venus." And we were just talking. And it was like 30 minutes later. I'm in the middle of a sentence, and I was looking straight up at it as I was talking to him, and I didn't realize he was looking at it too. And like in the middle of my sentence, this thing it's stationary, sitting still, and it does this maneuver where it curves off like a backward C in like the blink of an eye. It's just gone. And like I froze, I stopped talking, and then I'm thinking immediately trying to rationalize in my head, like my eyes are playing tricks on me.
Mm-hmm.
And my best friend goes, "Dude, you just fucking see that?" And as soon as he said that, like my hairs on my arms stood up. I'm just like, "What the fuck?" We talked about it that night, and I remember like just saying all kinds of stuff. We were laughing about it, maybe being an alien, or he was saying, maybe it's an angel, who knows.
Mm-hmm.
Um, um, After that night, though, I never spoke about it with him or anybody else for about 5 years, and I don't know why. I, I just put it in the back of my head. Like I said, I think I was in denial, and then it was the beginning of last year. I know I'm probably leaving some stuff out, so I might end up jumping back later or something. But it was the beginning of last year. I started seeing the Pentagon UAP reports on the news, and for one, like I was in shock that I don't know if it's like this where you guys live, but you girls nobody
No,
here in North Carolina was talking about it, and I'm
yeah.
just like, what the fuck? Like this is like huge. Like I just couldn't believe it. I'm like, are you serious? Like they're saying that UFOs are real, and maybe it's because I'm in the Bible Belt here, but it's like nobody gave it any attention, and I'm like digging into it, and it was like maybe it might have been the same day that I started digging into it, or like a day afterwards. I thought about what me and my friend saw that night in the river,
Mm-hmm.
and it just like clicked in my head like a switch flip. Like holy shit, this is actually real. And I started researching things because I had no interest in it. I I didn't know anything about UFOs or paranormal or supernatural. I never was into it whatsoever.
Yeah.
And I just started like playing catch up, I guess, like just doing so much research. I remember watching that movie, The Phenomena. I don't know if y'all seen that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The 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 end of that movie documentary where they show like the Zimbabwe kids, that part just like really blew my mind. I'm just thinking, whoa, like they're for one, like they're shutting down nuclear weapons, and they're telling these Zimbabwe kids that we're screwing up the earth. I'm sitting here thinking,
Yeah.
this is so bizarre. What's going on? And it was about a month or two after I started digging into it so much. I'm outside on my back balcony, and I'm looking at it on my phone because I got like hooked on it. After I realized it was real, it's like every day I was digging into it. I remember my ex-girlfriend; she was getting freaked out about it. She didn't want it to be real. Um, but I'm on my back balcony, and happen to look up, and it's nighttime, and I see a bright light shoot over me from the left, and it comes to an immediate stop, and it flashed. Like whenever it stopped, it just flashed and it was gone. And this really it shocked me because the light, whenever it flashed, I saw it like hit it illuminated like the bottom of the clouds. So I knew it wasn't a shooting star. And I was just speechless. I could not believe it. It's so bizarre. And I'm thinking to myself, like, why did I just see this? Why is this happening now? And I'm thinking, is it because I'm researching it, or am I looking up at the sky more? And I don't know. I started really struggling with myself because I had a couple other sightings after that, but they were always like in the corner of my eye or something. It's like it's there and it's gone.
Mm-hmm.
And after I saw the first one, it seemed like every other week or so, or sometimes like every week, it's like I started having weird little sightings. Like I would see like these little orange orbs, and as soon as I look at it, it's there. It's not a regular star because it's orange, like bright orange. And as soon as I look at it, it starts to fade away. And
Mm.
I really started struggling, thinking I was going crazy. I really did. I remember thinking to myself, like, what in the world? Like, am I losing my mind right now? And so I started thinking about Chris Bledsoe. I mentioned him earlier, and I always include him in my stories because he is a big part of my story. And I just spoke to him a couple nights ago, and he he told me that what I'm doing. So not just me. I wanted to make sure I said this. I told him I would. He said what you're all doing, what Ryan is doing, his son, Ben and Joe. He's met Ben and Joe from the UFO Garage. He said it's so much more important than all of you know. He said that we're making little ripples now. Y'all are making little ripples now that are going to have big effects in the future. And told me, he said, no, he says, as long as you're passionate and you're driven by this, and you're not doing it for any self gain or anything. He said that to keep on, just it was really I don't know his intent whenever he's telling me this. And I told him the other night that I would tell people this. You know what he said. I'm
It's
sorry.
nice
Y'all
to
have
know.
any? Do y'all have any questions or anything before I go on? Or actually, I was going to see if y'all could play that video.
I was like, yeah, I have that video up. I was going to ask you when you want me to play it. Here, I'll play it right now. I have it up in the background, so let me share it. And then you can
real
talk
quick,
as we go on it. Yeah, go for it. While I get it up.
okay. I was just going to say when I reached out to him, because I grew up like a mile down the road from Bledsoe's, and to this day, I'm still really good friends with Chris Jr.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, he told me whenever I reached out to him, like, you know, Josh, you're not going crazy. Come over here and you can experience it yourself. And I ended up going back over to his house and spent a whole day with him. Chris Jr. was there, another person I can't name, very important person.
Mm-hmm.
We you know, hung out with him all day, and we just spoke about all kinds of stuff. You know, he asked me, you know, things he wanted to find out, you know, about my life, and you know, so did the other guy with him, and he pointed out that a lot of experiences have near-death experiences like I did, and the fact that I'm Native American to me said it might have something to do with that.
100%. Yep.
And he had told me that day that, you know, not everybody can go to his house and have an experience. He told me, you know, people have gone there, and you know, it's about he believes it's about frequencies, and so do I.
Mm-hmm.
And if people go there looking for some kind of self gain or something, like people have trespassed on his property and camped out, and then they won't see anything, and they'll think that he's a phony, you know. Yeah, just pretty much told me, you know, it's about, you know, who you are and your intentions. And
How did you meet them?
I grew up with them.
Yeah.
Oh, you did?
He grew up down the street.
Yeah, I
The
went to
whole
school
time?
and that's what's crazy for like I knew about his initial experience, just the river experience, because they made a documentary in like 2008 or something.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever it came out, I feel so horrible for them, because I remember almost everybody in my school was laughing, you know, calling them crazy, saying they were on mushrooms and stuff. And um, you know, I was good friends with Chris Jr. I watched it. I was kind of, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't really believe it, but I wasn't going to, you know, quit hanging out with Chris. He was my friend. I just kind of just never brought it up to him because he didn't like to talk about it.
Yeah.
And
Gotta be a
yeah, for like
connection then.
10 years, 10 years, I never spoke to him about it until last year, whenever I saw the Pentagon UAP reports. And
Isn't that
yeah,
funny? You have a friend who has this connection and it's not a
yeah,
part of your life, and then later down the road,
You realize it is. Yep.
you
hmm
never really know the seeds that are planted in other people's lives. I really do believe that sometimes when we have contact with other people that have had contact of some sort,
yep,
I feel like there's already that kind of
hmm
maybe like a energetic
hmm
connection or something. It seems like it almost brings it into their reality, and that almost seems
yeah.
like a prime example of that.
Mm-hmm.
He said the same exact thing. When I first started seeing him, because I'd started talking to Chris on the phone. And I asked him, like, you know, why am I seeing this now? Why is this happening? And he said, because you're talking to me. Because I kept calling him, you know, asking him all these questions, and he was, you know, so humble, like he didn't mind speaking to me, you know, because I was going through like a major freak out period, to be honest, early on.
Mm,
Not only was I battling whether I thought I was going crazy, you know, I was getting weirded out about the whole, you know, just the phenomenon in general. I'm like thinking to myself, are they evil, you know? And then, you know, Chris starts telling me this other stuff I didn't know anything past the river incident. And in the documentary that originally came out, I know a lot of people, they probably noticed, they might not, but they made it look really silly, and they left out the big stuff. Like they didn't mention that Chris had Crohn's disease, and his Crohn's disease was healed after this experience happened. And you know, I'm talking to Chris, and that's when he's telling me, you know, they're not bad, at least not all of them, you know. And he told me to go over there, and 10 minutes before it got dark, he said that he could sense it. He said, "Josh, we're going to have an experience tonight." And it wasn't even 10 minutes later that this happened right here on this video.
All right, we'll play it right now then. That's a perfect lead into it. Thank you, Josh. All right.
Oh, hey!
That's what I'm trying to tell you. Prayer.
I still got it. It's faint now.
See how bright it is? It appeared while you were saying your prayer.
Oh, yes.
Loading.
Yeah, that is what I'm looking at. Yeah, that's amazing.
There's a pine tree. Now, it's
Wow.
already dimmed a lot, but it appeared
Yeah.
right up over our head.
Wow.
Very bright. Joe
I mean,
was
seeing this in
standing
person is so much different.
very bright.
Of course.
Mm-hmm.
I told him to say a prayer. He started asking a prayer.
And he told me to send a prayer of gratitude.
Oh,
Follow the laser. It's
We saw 15 to 20 of them. I
oh, y'all
lost
see
count.
it? God,
It
it's
was much brighter.
that's amazing.
Oh, we got another one here as well. We're at right there. With
Wow.
both the camera and my eye.
Y'all can see that, right?
Honey,
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. So slow.
honey.
It's like
You still on that one?
the thing should have fallen out of the sky.
Yes.
Just looking for a change of direction or a stop. Could you stop for us, please?
This is crazy.
It just stopped.
Or change direction? That would be even better. Now keep that camera real still. Don't move the camera with the object. Let the object move across the frame.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
When it gets to the edge of the frame, you can move to track it.
Okay.
But only move to keep it in frame.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we can't see what it's doing. Oh, there's another with it.
Oh, it just materialized?
See it?
Yeah.
Behind it, much more faint.
Yeah, the dog started going crazy when this happened.
Right there.
Sure.
They always do.
They weren't before it. I can sense it.
Oh, there's another one here.
How many total do you think you guys saw?
15 to 20. I lost count.
Yeah, they're very active. This is
Really?
incredible.
They were coming all different directions. I've had people try to say satellites. I'm like, dude, they were everywhere, going all different directions.
Oh, there's another one following it. It's a lot more faint. It's
Yeah.
right behind it.
That's what I was saying before, right behind it.
It wasn't even an hour and a half.
Satellite guys, how do you display
Yeah.
display one bright and one another behind it there. Look at these two that go in exactly the same.
Two of them side by side.
How often would you see 2,000 go? That's twice. I mean, at the same time, you got 4 orbs.
Wow.
It's spooky.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
I'm out here on my balcony.
Yeah, this is really bad quality right here. I
This
don't
is
know if you can see it. He
playing.
told me I'd have a hitchhiker, and as soon as I got home,
Oh my
I walked out
God.
my back balcony. As soon as I got home, this orange orb popped up right in front of me.
I can see it very, very faintly up there.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah. I see it.
I need to edit this video, make it a little brighter.
Wait. Okay, I see it. I see
It
it.
looked like it popped in right where I was looking.
And I was questioning it right here. I didn't even know if it was one or not.
I really believe that's an orb. And there's
He told me,
something up above it
they
blinking.
follow people home. And I mean, the second I got home and walked on my back balcony, that happened.
I guess I'm about to find out if it's a plane or not. I think that might be an orb. There's no blinking at all.
Yeah, I can see it now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, it's an orb.
Yeah, they definitely weren't satellites. We were seeing them materialize, like they're popping up out of thin air.
Okay,
And
there's
these
a
ones right here,
very big orb.
Well, that's huge.
Emily called me
right
out of
over
the
the trees.
house. It's
To
hovering
even look
right
big
here.
on camera, then it's huge.
Is it moving?
This blew my mind.
Wow.
I
That's a
see it
good
good
one.
in this camera. It's
Incredible.
Yeah.
hovering just above the trees, right in the
Mhm.
trees. Look.
Wow.
Oh, it's dropping. Look. Oh, Lord, thank you.
He always says thank you, and he told me to do that. He said always
Orange,
give gratitude.
white glow.
Wow. It almost looks
Sometimes it gets darker. Reddish, orange, pink. Sometimes
Have y'all
there's
watched
a
this yet?
solid white.
Not this one. I don't think so.
Yeah, this
And
part
it's
right
heading
here,
towards the moon.
it's wild.
Your helicopter coming. Fort
Jamie,
Bragg
we need to go to
State
North
is
Carolina.
right close to
I
me,
know.
so
Yeah,
they often
because
come
what the
right
guy said.
over. I've seen them hovering here.
Of course.
He sent me this video as soon as I got home.
Perfect. Like, what are you going to do, helicopter? What are you really going to do?
That's a Black Hawk too. He said that has happened anytime he has a big sighting like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's happened quite a few times. He said.
Wow.
Wow.
So the orb that you saw as soon as you got home and you saw that orb,
Mhm.
did you get the emotional feeling that it was there for you?
Yes, and I'm glad you said that because so, I'm not like a super emotional person like that, but I like you said, I feel like it was happening for me whenever I got to Chris's house and they first started popping up. Um, Chris looked over at me and like my eyes were starting to water up, and he goes, "It's okay, Josh. I get emotional sometimes too." And I told him, I said, you don't understand what this means to me. Like I didn't know if I was going crazy, and like now like I'm here, and getting on video and got witnesses with me. It's it just meant it's powerful. It's just seeing it. It's just so I don't know how to say it. Like what majestic. I don't even know what kind of words to say to put it in. Especially because of the fact that I didn't mention this either. About 10 minutes before, whenever he said that we were definitely going to have a sighting, he went out there and he sent like a personal little prayer and Chris used to be a deacon at a Pentecostal church. A lot of people think that he's you know overly religious and stuff like that. That's not even true. No, he's still he still believes in Jesus and everything, but he's a lot more open minded now. Obviously, like his church ostracized him. Like his wife at the time, she's not like this anymore. Now she actually will be out there with him. Um, his wife tried to get the the preacher at his church to get an exorcism for him. Thought that he was messing with the devil because she was seeing it too. So she knew that. At first, they thought he was crazy. But then she started experiencing it too. They were having more paranormal experiences. If if people don't know this, Chris, he's a multi-faceted experiencer, and I am now myself too. Um, so it was like poltergeist type stuff, and shadow figures as well. I didn't know that he had seen plenty of shadow figures himself, and just like a lot of stuff like that. And if you there's a Richard Dolan 4-part podcast or a 4-part show with Chris. That's in my opinion like the best thing to watch with him. They just go through everything because his story is ongoing. It hasn't stopped to this day. And he had told me, a year or two before, or year or two ago from now, he had like a dream or a download, whatever you want to call it, where he said he was given a message that they were going to start allowing him to record it and allowing other people to record it with him so that they could spread the word of it. And when I was talking to him the other night, I told him, about the podcasting I'm doing. He said that, that's why I had that experience over there that night. He said, so that you have proof, nobody can tell you it's not real. And I forgot to mention this, about after the first 2 orbs that I saw at Chris's house, I didn't get this on camera. There was a big blue beam of light that came from the ground. And I should have sent you a picture. I forgot about it. And it looked like I don't know, have you ever heard of this? I had never heard of it until it happened. And then I looked it up, and like if you watch that Skinwalker show, there's a scene there where they saw a beam of light, but it was just like there for a second and it was gone. And I didn't get it on camera, but I turned around and tell Chris, I'm like, holy shit, did you see that? It was like a blue beam of light. And he just goes, no, I didn't see it, but me and my wife have seen it a few times. I'm just like so casual, like
Okay, that's
I know,
normal.
right?
yeah. And I found a picture. I'll have to send you the picture later. I found a picture that looks really almost identical to what I saw. But yeah.
Man, I wish that we could like in movies when they do things like they touch someone and then they transfer like thoughts and feelings and stuff. I wish that we could do that to people that haven't had these kind of experiences because everything is so powerful, but it's most importantly powerful to you. And I don't think you can really transfer that information just verbally to
Yeah.
someone else with them understanding unless they've also gone through it, where it's like the thought of going outside and having a UFO, an orb, something conscious, it seems like there's definitely that conscious connection appear just
Mhm.
for you. That is so magical. Like, what other word? How else do you say that? You know, it's
Mm-hmm.
like there really aren't
Powerful.
words to
Yeah.
describe how powerful it is. Because
Yeah.
why? It's like, why? You know, it sparks
Mm.
this like energy in you. There's a connection somehow, thoughts, some type of energy pull. It's like, why? How does this work? You know, and it's
Yeah.
your story is pretty much all of that in a nutshell.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's like,
And what's
wow.
it leading? What's it leading to? Uh, I have a lot of. I theorize a lot. I have a lot of thoughts about where it may be going, but I don't want to tell anybody I know something
Oh,
for certain. Now, I do tell people, like, I will tell you it's real. Like, you cannot tell me it's not real. I know
Yeah.
that it's real, but I can't tell you exactly what it is. I just know that it's real. Because I've had people, question me, like, do you think it's this? Do you think it's that? And I'm like, look, I know for sure. And since I don't know, since I first started seeing them last year, because so I was a skeptic, and it's like last year, the beginning of last year, I just became a lightning rod for this stuff and other weird things too, like synchronicities, major synchronicities, and I tell people, the more you look for the synchronicities, the more you'll see them. It's really bizarre. I actually want to tell a story about that. One of like the biggest synchronicity.
Yeah,
And
please do, please.
okay, so this is I've talked about this on a few other channels. This was like and if y'all don't mind, can y'all remind me so I don't forget later? I have seen a craft before.
Yes.
I want to leave that out.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a sighting, premonition, and a shitload of synchronicities all in like one experience that it all like connected together. It's like so layered, I couldn't wrap my head around it. So one night, y'all remember me telling you earlier about the orb that shot over the left of me, and it came to immediate stop underneath the clouds and flashed.
Mm-hmm.
So the night that before that happened, I had this really strange dream, and I need to get my phone charger here in a minute. So I had this dream where there was a girl I went to high school with, and she she came up to me and said some it was a joke about smoking weed. She was like, "Josh, why did you say I'm smoking too much weed and I got lazy eyes or something like that?" And it
Mm-hmm.
was really weird. And I woke up from this dream, and it was just strange. It's bizarre, and I didn't think too much of it until I walked outside on my back balcony, and I get on my cell phone. I'm getting ready for work this morning, and I was just going out there to smoke a cigarette. And as soon as I cut on my phone YouTube, I was going to play some music or something. There's a song called "Lazy Eye," very top of my page, and I'm just like,
Ooh.
what in the fuck? Like it's by this
from the
band called
Smashing Pumpkins?
no, no, it sounds like Smashing Pumpkins. They're called God, it's driving me crazy right now.
Oh, so it's a cover band?
Silver Sun Pickups. That's the name of the band. Yeah,
Oh.
y'all remember that song "Lazy Eye"?
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. Why did I think that? Why was I thinking of Smashing
They do kind of
Pumpkins? I
sound
don't
like
know.
they sound a
But
little like
yeah, that was Silver Sun's Pickups. I remember that. They were big for a
yeah.
while. I don't know what happened.
So I'm just like, whoa, like it trips me out. And then I play the song. As soon as I start playing the song, that's whenever orb shoots over to the left. It comes to a flash, and it illuminated the bottom of the cloud. And this flash was bright, like it came outwards. And I remember it lit up my balcony for like a blink of an eye. The light hit me. I remember like seeing in my peripherals, like where it shined on my clothes. And, I was just in shock. And I told a MUFON investigator, Sev Talk, she was first guest on my channel.
Mm-hmm.
I told her about this experience, and because I've been having other weird premonitions and synchronicities and stuff, and I used the girl's full name, the girl that said this to me in my dream. I don't know why I said her first and last name.
Mm-hmm.
So, 3 weeks after this happens, the same girl, I had not seen her in about 10 years. She randomly calls me because she had a near-death experience, and she was in a coma,
Wow.
and blows my mind. It's just I can't even wrap my head around it. And I mean, even if I had seen her in less than 10 years, how would I have known that she was going to have a near-death experience?
Yeah.
It's it's wild. Um, yeah, and yeah, I didn't want to say that for a while. That I didn't even want to call myself an experiencer for a while. I don't know why, but Sev
A
kept
lot of
telling me
people.
like,
That happens to a lot of people.
Well, I mean, I'm okay with it now. Sev, told me after the video that I showed up, she was like, Josh, you've got video proof with witnesses. There's no denying it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Then the weird little psychic premonitions started happening, and I was just like, I'm not psychic, And she's like, yes, you are. Even Chris Bledsoe was like, yes, you are. You're tapping into it. You just, you don't like. It's like I don't know how to control it. It just happens, and it's always random and bizarre. I had another experience last year where I had another dream with another girl I went to high school with. I hadn't seen her in like 4 or 5 years, and I swear to God, I saw her at the gas station the next day, right after it happened, and it had my fingers were shaking. I'm just like, what in the fuck is going on?
Wow. Yeah.
I almost, God, it's so weird. I really remember my hands trembling, just thinking, like what in the fuck, and everything's like where I saw her, it wasn't in the town that I grew up with her in. Like it was like an hour away. So I'm just like, what in the fuck is? It's so. I don't know. It's really, really bizarre. Sorry, I need to grab my charger real quick, y'all.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Grab it.
No big deal.
No big deal.
Do you mind? I'm gonna leave and come right back because this has been frozen for me.
Okay, yeah. Do that. It's just me and Josh. I'll sing the audience a song. I'll steal from Lee and I'll sing to you. Madame Tussauds, ethereal aura, Jedi camper. I love Josh's background. I was singing the names of the people in the chat.
We were butt rated.
No, we were butt tickled.
Butt tickled. We were just rimmed. It was a rim job. It wasn't full on. It was just a touch, a kiss. We were rimmed.
Yes. Thank you. I appreciate it.
It was a really nice
Peaches.
rim job. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Ugh, I'm getting congested again.
Oh, no.
Yeah, Josh is like, I knew it. I just knew it. Just so everyone knows, you guys, if I just flash your question, I'm only because I don't want to distract him. So like I said earlier in the chat, I'm writing your questions down and I'm collecting them on my candle here. So if you guys ask a question, I'll flash it, but I'm going to save it for when he's not talking. So we don't mess with the funk.
No.
I'm sorry you missed it, Too Spooky, because this is like deep. I swear experiencers recognize other experiencers. Like you just know. You have that instant connection where like you've gone through the same shit. You know that this is deep, and a lot of the times you cannot explain it to other people without them knowing. I'm sure that the synchronicities are so heavy and so intense, but the problem with synchronicities is that it's harder to explain to other people without it just seeming like a random coincidence. But
when it happens to you, it's
like
completely
when it happens
different.
to you, and then it's like you don't understand. Like this is so random, or just like over and over and over and over again. At some point, when is it not a coincidence?
Yeah, I mean, I had proof of it too. That's like Sev talk. She was blown away by it. I don't even know why I used that girl's first and last name in the email I sent to her. I was just kind of tripping out. I sent her the email right after it happened because she told me, if you have any more, weird premonitions, or sightings, make sure you let me know. And I had really mixed thoughts, mixed opinions about Move On. But Sev talk, she's a great person, and I actually asked Chris Bledsoe first, and he knows Sev talk, and he says, yeah, he has opinions about Move On too, but she's a good one, and she's great. I talked to her now, so she's awesome. So I'm sorry. Yeah, I when it comes to like the synchronicities, I need to start writing them all down, to be honest, because there's a lot of them, and I forget a lot of time how many.
Sometimes it's just for the
Um,
moment, though. You know.
mhm.
I feel like, yeah, so like I take synchronicities, like personally, I take them as like signs that I'm on the right path and to keep going, because if I didn't see the synchronicities, I
Mhm.
wouldn't be on the right path. You know what I mean? It's like I'm following them like breadcrumbs
Yeah, well, I think you can
almost.
have. Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, I've been saying that synchronicities are like the universe's way of winking at you. I do think that there can be
Mm-hmm.
bad synchronicities
A
as
God
well, though. I
winks.
think it goes both ways. Mhm.
Yeah, I think
Um,
that that's the universe though. There's a duality to everything, right? There's the negative and the positive, there's the
yeah,
good and the bad. Like that's like what the universe is founded on, so you can't have one without the other.
yeah.
Unless you're fifth
Well,
dimension, then you're past polarity. But that's a
Ah.
whole nother topic. We're here for Josh. So next
Mhm.
time we'll hit that on Deep Body Waba or something.
Mhm.
what you just said, I was talking to Ben the other day from UFO Garage, and we were getting into some like deep conversations, and he he was telling me some things, and it was really strange. Like he had these thoughts, and he said he wanted to talk to somebody about it. He felt like would get it, you know. So he started
Mhm.
talking to me, and we're talking to each other, going back and forth. And as we're doing it, we're like piecing things. It's like we're getting new ideas as we
Yep.
did it. Like he
Yep.
said something, and I was like, "Oh man!" I was like, "So I can't remember exactly how he started off, but he said something about like universe focusing, and I was like, oh man, the universe focusing. That makes me think of like quantum physics, like the double slit experiment. And they say it's a
Mhm. Mhm.
wave if you're not observing
Yep.
it and you're observing it as a particle. When he
Yep.
said that, I was like, oh, so it's kind of like whenever we're living in time, we collapse every moment. Like the wave into a particle. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Kind of like a
Mhm.
butterfly effect.
Yep.
It's not exactly how I said it to him, but
No, but I understand what you're
um,
saying.
yeah. And I told him, well, I was thinking to myself the other day, maybe like the synchronicities as you're like collapsing every moment from a wave to a particle, if you're going in the right direction, those kind of like collapse in with it, the synchronicities that help you realize you're on the right track, just like you said.
Mhm. Yep.
So I got a little scattered there to say that.
No, you're
We're in a
fine.
simulation and we're doing it to ourselves.
Bree, why don't you give Josh some of the questions you have written down, my love?
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So I have from the goat who is second goat to me, who's real goat. What does Brian Bledsoe believe the phenomena is?
I will say I know Ryan. I went to school with him. I'm a lot closer to Chris Jr. though, so I can't really answer that so much.
Mhm.
Respect.
Mhm.
I know he I
No,
know
that's respect. Yeah.
I know Chris Senior. He says the light beings. For people that don't know, he had 4 hours of missing time, and he had a hypnotic regression, and
Damn.
or there was a big experience at the Cape Fear River where he had 4 hours of missing time, and there was like 5 other people at the river. They started looking for him, and he saw like there's 2 or 3 huge balls of light first, and then it's like it was daytime, and then it was dark, and to him it was nothing was out of the ordinary. And he comes back, and everybody's like, where the hell were you? We've been looking for you. And he's excited, wanting to tell people about these balls of light. And Chris Jr. was in the woods. He got lost looking for his dad. And like I said, I mentioned this to him once whenever we were in high school together, but he he struggled with it really bad. Chris Jr. He was kind of traumatized about it for a while. Now he's a lot more open to it and everything. But back then, so whenever he was looking for his dad, and his dad, was gone for 4 hours. He was going through the woods, and he sees 2 little balls of light. They're coming through the woods, like not even that far off the ground. I know people, this is a crazy story. I know it's really into the woo, but you got to look in the evidence before you, dismiss what he's saying, because there's a lot of evidence. And I tell people, like, whether you believe it or not, you can't deny the fact that he had Crohn's disease for 15 years, and then he has this 4 hours of missed time, and his Crohn's disease is gone, and there's no cure for Crohn's disease. It's like you can't deny that. There's medical documents proving it. So Chris Jr.'s in the wood, and these 2 balls of light are coming through, and these 2 little light beings. They're like 3 or 4, 3 foot tall probably. He said it's kind of like they came out of the balls of light, the orbs, and Chris was like, he said he was stuck. It was like he was paralyzed. And I asked him not long ago, does he feel like he was like they paralyzed him, these little small light beings, or that he was just so freaked out that he couldn't move? And he said he's
Yeah.
thought about that before, and he doesn't really know. But they were just walking around, observing the environment, like picking up cans and sticks and stuff. Just like just observe, just investigating. It's so strange. But Chris Jr., goes. I mean, Chris Sr. goes to the woods and he finds them, and they're both sitting there talking about, these balls of light and these little beings and stuff, and everybody thinks, they don't know what's going on. They're like, are they lost their mind? What is this? Are they playing a joke on us? And then
Yeah.
they all see what looks like 7 or 8 stars up in the sky, and they all start like dancing, just like doing weird little maneuvers. And that was after one of them, whenever they're like telling him like, quit playing with us, you're freaking us out. One of the other guys there, I mean, there's like 5 or 6 people all together. One of them just goes, and it's not Chris or Chris Jr. One of them goes, look, and he points up to the sky, and that's when they're all bouncing around. And then 2 of them shoot down from all the way up there, like, looks like a star. They shoot down immediately in the blink of an eye to the other side of the river. And they freak out and they all get in the truck. And people, if they want to know the story, they should go watch it, because I'm going to leave out a lot of details. It's a long story. But they all get in the truck and they haul ass off, and 2 of these balls of light are chasing them. There's so much evidence. There's actually like energy, what do you call it, energy readings or whatever, where the balls of light came down. It's bizarre, but they do the hypnotic regression on Chris, and when they do it, I think he's laying down, and there's these 3, he calls them light beings. So they're 7 or 8 foot tall, and they look like they're made out of pure light. So just like a pure energy, And he starts freaking out, and they tell him, you don't understand. We're trying to help you. And he gets these thoughts in his head, like they're telepathically communicating. I know this is a really strange story, but
No, go for it. That's what the abduction hotline is about.
yeah, this is
It's about
Chris's
you,
story,
baby.
so I'm not going to tell all of Chris's story, but I do want to put this out there if people are interested. It's an amazing story, really. So they tell him that they're his guardians and that they've always been with him, and that's what, and the fact that they healed him, that gave Chris Senior the opinion that they're angels, or what we've referred to as angels somehow, or I think to myself, maybe some kind of like extra dimensional being, that's just maybe really highly advanced, highly evolved, or something so much that are like closest to the source or something. I don't know. These are just like my opinions, my thoughts on it, really. But yeah, that's his experience. I don't want to get too much into it, but it's incredible, really.
Yeah.
And for people that doubt it, Lou Elizondo retrieved metamaterial from Chris's property, and I saw a picture of this metamaterial, and it looks like nothing I've ever seen in my life. And there's a ball of light that's pure, orb, just ball of light, not that high off the ground. And he tells me it looks like it starts dripping, kind of like this molten liquid. And as soon as it's dripping, like it starts solidifying into metal as it hits the ground. And this ball of light goes from pure energy into a metal, like metallic sphere, and shoots off or whatever. I saw a picture of this metamaterial, it's, metal drippings, whatever. And Chris even showed me a picture of him with Lou Elizondo and Tom DeLonge from Blink-182. They went there and picked this up. And if people doubt that, it's that UFO podcast. Lou Elizondo admits that yes, he did retrieve this metamaterial from Chris. Sorry, like I said, I don't want to get too much into his story.
No, we understand.
I'm sorry, I bounced around everywhere with that. My ADD just kicked in. Pretty whole about
Trust
the question.
Me too. What's okay,
So
Bree?
two
What
other questions?
I was like, yeah, ask another question. We'll continue
Greg O'Brien wanted to know: do you think orbs could be scouts?
I think they could be a huge variety of things. I really do, because I've lost count, but I've seen somewhere around like at least 30, 35 orbs now, just since the beginning of last year. And I've seen some of them that look different. Like I've seen a couple that looked more, how do you say, like kind of like ectoplasm type stuff. I feel like it was
Mhm.
more of a spiritual thing, or maybe I don't know how to explain it. I think some of them could be drone scout type things, like he said.
Mhm.
Some of them might be like more spiritual energy. I'm not sure really. But the fact that that one orb I was telling you all about earlier went from energy to metal. I don't even
Crazy.
know how to wrap my head around that. That's what makes me think they could just be
That's
a huge
right. We
variety of
don't
things.
know that. So I have one more question, and then we definitely need to hear about the
I'm sorry.
craft.
The craft story. I was thinking the exact same thing.
I wrote that down that we have to hear about that.
On the
Land.
one more thing on the orb, real quick.
Yeah.
So just here recently, I mean, like last week, I just lost a family member about a little over a week ago, and I don't know, it was maybe about 4 or 5 days ago. I was talking to Chad Smith on the phone, and this has never happened to me before. I got chills right now just thinking about I'm talking to Chad, and I see what looks like, I called it like a shadow ball, because it wasn't illuminated. It was like a grayish colored orb, but it wasn't glowing like normal orbs I've seen. This was in my house, and it shot by like right in front of me. And Chad Smith saw my reaction. I was video chatting with him when it happened, and I'm just kind of just shocked. I'm over looking around everywhere to make sure it wasn't a huge ass bug or anything, but it
Yeah.
was round. It was a ball, and it was like it looked like gray, like a shadow. I don't know how to explain it really.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
That's never happened. And I think to myself, maybe it could have been my family member. I don't know. I'm not sure.
100%.
Yeah, that was bizarre, and that just happened.
Jedi Camper says, "No way! I saw a great orb once too." Oh wow!
Really?
I've never
Yeah,
seen one, but it sounds great.
I never heard of one. I was just about to ask if anybody in the chat has seen one.
Yeah, Jedi Camper did. Okay, Brie, what's the next question you have? I see you're writing one down, but it's the next one.
The next one is from Lando. He wants to know, have you ever tried to tap into this ability, deliberately making contact on command, which is basically CE5? Or just
Yeah.
if you don't go through the protocols, basically just human-initiated contact. Have you ever gone out there and been like, I have a connection, I want to see something, and kind of bring it in?
Yeah, I've tried it quite a few times. Most of the time, it didn't happen. Usually, when I see them, it's random. But there's a few times that I try to do it, and I'd be waiting out there, and then I gave up a few times, and it was like after I gave up, then one came. I don't know. It's really random, but that actually goes into the craft store. If you want me to go ahead and say that.
Yes, please.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay. So I don't know if Bobby, I think Bobby Stout, I can't remember. She might be in the chat. She started listening to Chad's podcast and some of the other ones. I went to the beach here, Carolina Beach in Wilmington, and it was a bunch of people that I just met. This is after I'd already had my experience with Chris's, and I was looking into the C5 thing, and I just wanted to give it a shot. And we all gathered at the beach. It was like 10 of us all together. Bobby ended up she couldn't make it. So we get in a circle and do the meditation thing, and while we're meditating, I saw like a white flashing light in my head, or what your third eye. I don't know how you explain that really. Somebody
No,
said
I
that
get what
to
you're
me,
saying.
like,
Yeah.
your third eye. So after we get done with the meditation, as soon as we finish, everybody, or the guy who's leading the meditation, he asked, did anybody see anything or have an experience? And the woman sitting right next to me goes, I saw a flashing white light. And I'm just like, what? And then she said it was at the end of the meditation, and the guy who was leading it was like, holy crap, they had an EMF reader. I think that's what it's called. It started buzzing at the end of the thing, like right same time that we had seen that. So we didn't see anything there at the beach that night, but we go home, and as soon as I got home, this is the craft story, and I almost felt kind of bad. I didn't want to tell anybody. I saw my first craft. It was right whenever I got home, and we saw nothing at the beach. And this is it's going to sound a little odd because it's not like any craft I've ever heard of really. I walked out on my back balcony, and this thing, it looked big, like the size of like a two-story house. It was a crescent shape. Um, so God, I always forget his name. The person who first coined the term flying saucer, I cannot remember his name.
Oh fuck. Kenneth Arnold.
Kenneth Arnold, yes. Do you remember what those look like? The crafts, they were actually a crescent kind of shape.
It was like a
point in the
boomerang
middle.
almost.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Like a
it had a point
boomerang,
in the
and then
middle.
it had like a little curve, like
Yeah. In the middle of it was like a point
yeah,
going.
in the middle of it was like that.
So I saw, I had the picture somewhere, because I drew it after it happened, and it's so sloppy because my hands are shaking. I see this, and it's like it was transparent, but it had like a cloudy, foggy surface, and it's just gliding just right over the houses. And I mean, as soon as I walked out, and I was holding my phone, and I look up and I see it, and I almost dropped my phone off my balcony. I was just shocked. I could not believe it. I mean, this thing was big. I'm thinking like y'all said, how's it not falling out the sky? And
Mm-hmm.
it glides, and then just like a few seconds, and it just fades away to nothing. But I mean to tell you that crescent shape, and I'd never heard of Kenneth Arnold at the time. I didn't even know what those look like. It
Mm-hmm.
wasn't until I sent the picture to Seb Talk, my investigator. She sent me back a picture of the ones that Kenneth Arnold described, but it was on its side, like actually like a big crescent. And I don't know if you want to call it like cloaked, whatever you want to say.
That's a
But
good
this
word
thing,
for it. Yeah.
yeah. But it was like it wanted me to see it, and it's really. I mean, as soon as I walk out, and I told I told some people that night, I've seen orbs. I'm ready to see my first craft. And then I get home and that crap happens. And I used to not tell people about it because I thought it sounded too out there. But I really don't care what people think anymore, to be honest. I know what I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, and so that's interesting that you said that too, because you said you pulled out your camera, and someone else, I saw a question in the chat that Bree was writing down. How many times have you gotten this, either cameras or pictures of your experiences and the things that you were seeing?
Most of the ones I got were actually at Chris's house.
Mm-hmm.
I've gotten like a few of them on camera here. Sonny from Paranormal Chop Shop.
Yep.
I called him one day, and he saw two of the orbs. It was really hard to see him, but and there was these weird little transparent crafts there that night. I've seen two crafts now, and God, it was just weird. This is it had like a distorted surface, and my cousin actually saw this with me too. I walked down my balcony and I saw two orbs, and I called my cousin out and like, dude, come out here. He didn't believe me at first, and I drug him out there. As soon as he comes out, he doesn't point up at the orbs. He points up, and there's like a little. It had like the funhouse mirror effect, really like a distorted surface, and you can only see it if it was like underneath the clouds or the stars. And I can't really tell you the shape of it because there's just like a little spot in the sky that was really distorted. But whenever he pointed at it, it took off and it did this maneuver where it kind of like zigzag, like bounced. And I tried recording, I couldn't really see it. I called Sonny, and I was trying to show it to him, and this thing was like doing circles or over the top of my apartment. My cousin is freaking out. Sonny, I'm trying to show Sonny, and first I actually had the phone pointing at myself. He's like, turn the fucking phone around. But I turned it around, and Sonny actually saw the two orbs. But I didn't really care about the orbs this time. I was trying to figure out what this weird thing was, this little distorted cloak surface, and it's like the circle, or whenever it did like a big circle over the top of my apartment, it did that a few times. And I ran into the house at once and tried to go to the front of my apartment to see it because I thought it was standing back there. But I don't know. I can't say that I recorded that one, but Sonny can.
No, so Sonny came on Butt Stuff and told us about it like a day or two after it had happened, and so he was like, I've been saving this story to tell you guys. So he told us immediately about it, and he was like, he turned the camera and I was able to see it. Like he was so excited about it, and he was like, it just happened.
Yeah, that was bizarre, and it shattered my cousin's reality. He was open to it. He was open to it being real. He was my roommate at the time, but he he couldn't believe it. I feel kind of bad for this. He was after what happened. He's like, Josh, do we need to like lock the doors or something? And I told him, I said, don't worry, man, it's just a little butt probe.
I love that.
Yeah, no, he didn't like it though. I thought about it afterwards, like I should have been more, thought about. That was his first time ever seeing it.
Sometimes you got to bring a little humor to the situation. So
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I was just trying to calm him down, and
I
he's
was
not
like,
sleeping that night.
as somebody who's had their first experience, how much it does change you, and somebody who's, I think me, you, and Bree are all. I can say that we're privileged to have a lot of experiences and see a lot of things in the skies, and when it happens really frequently, the heaviness of witnessing a UFO is kind of lifted. It becomes a lot more lighthearted. You talk about it a lot more like, oh yeah, I saw that, whatever. So I think that your interactions with people also tend to become that way too, because you become a lot more desensitized to it compared to somebody who's just seeing it for the first time.
Yeah, a lot more comfortable with it. Yeah, definitely. And I forgot to mention earlier about the C5 thing at the beach. Bobby, she couldn't make it that night, but she called me afterwards. She didn't know anybody out there, any of us, and she said I couldn't make it, but I did a remote viewing for y'all. And at this time, I didn't even know if I believed in remote viewing or not. And I knew what it was, so I'm like, yeah, really? Well, tell me what you saw. And she said, well, I saw a circle. And first, I'm thinking, she could have guessed that, if we're meditating in a circle. But then she says, it was really hard for me to see though because there was a white flashing light, and I'm just like, whoa, just it just I don't know. I guess after that, that's what made me start believing in the whole remote viewing thing. Like I said, she didn't know anybody out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
That is intense. So is that the kind of like where everything led up to? Is that where are we now in present time in your story?
There's a lot of little things scattered around it. I haven't mentioned. I kind of lose count of things. The shadow figure I saw a few days after the video that y'all saw at Chris's. That so that night I was still I was just on like this high on life for like a good week or so. After that, and that experience with Chris that I got on video, the first one, it's really what made me get to the point where I thought to myself, I don't care anymore if people believe it or not. I know it's real. I've got proof of it. And I'm just like ecstatic. I'm talking to someone on the phone, and I lay down that night to go to sleep. And as soon as I lay on my bed, I see what looks like a 3 or 4 foot tall shadow. It wasn't like a shadow on the wall. This is like a physical 3D shadow figure, and it walked straight by and spooked the hell out of me, to be honest. I didn't feel threatened, but I'd never heard of it. I didn't feel comfortable with something being in my home like that. And it's just I don't know, like y'all were saying earlier, it might not have been anything bad. I've asked a few people. Some people said, maybe it was, a deceased loved one or something, just coming to visit you after my experience. Or I'm not sure, really.
Yeah, I think sometimes you can definitely, it's like a feeling, like you can feel negativeness or you can feel scared, or I think it all just comes down to what you're feeling about a situation. I think when we're talking about things that are happening on the other side of the veil, the paranormal, the extraterrestrial, the multidimensional, we don't really necessarily have the ability to conceptualize what it is that looks like. So maybe it only appears to us as, flashes and dark figures and things like that, because that's really the only thing like our brains can compute about it.
Yeah, and I usually only see the orbs if I'm like having negative emotions, I usually don't see anything. It's usually whenever I'm having more positive, I guess. Yeah, like just high vibrations, that's usually the times when I see them.
That's 100%. Yeah, absolutely.
I've told people before, it might sound strange to people, but I believe I'm not like, I don't want to say something wrong here. I believe in a higher power. I believe in afterlife, like more than I ever have now since I've had these experiences. Yeah, just for me, the fact that there's something like that, that can do these things. It almost seems like magic sometimes. It might sound really cheesy, but seeing like a ball of light just pop out of thin air, it's mind blowing to me. And it makes me feel like I don't know. I feel like some of them could be spiritual, like I said earlier. And
Absolutely.
it just strengthened my belief in the afterlife.
Has it shifted though? Do you think to like a conventional thought of the afterlife where people are like it's usually in like a religious context when people talk about the afterlife. Do you think they are more aligned with that, or do you kind of find yourself creating your own thoughts of what the afterlife could be?
Yeah, kind of like my own. I believe there's truth in religion, probably all religions, but I know there's also a lot of things that get, I don't want to offend anybody, but there's misinformation or things that get, like, what's the word I'm looking for? I can't think of the word. There's things that get, over time, things in religious texts that get uh, translated, I guess, a different way. I can't think of the word I'm trying to say right now. But what I'm getting at is I feel like religion it like divides and puts people, and it divides and frightens, and like spirituality that like unites people and enlightens them. And I just I don't know how to explain it really. I just I do believe that there's truth in religion. I just don't think it was ever supposed to divide people. I feel like religions might have turned more into like a government type thing. To keep people in control and keep them in check and in fear. And that's not what it was ever supposed to do. I think that
For sure.
all religions
People did that.
yeah, all religions, they're the main things that I get out of them is that we're all connected. There's something bigger than us, and just like love each other, really.
Yeah,
Love
absolutely.
each other. 100%. That was a good note to end on if the story is done.
I was like, any final thoughts, Josh? Yeah. Is there any other ones you wanted to tell?
I noticed some things that I'm leaving out, but
You know what? That's okay, because let's leave it slightly open so that you can come back and tell us more experiences and about the new ones you have that are going to happen very soon.
I do have one really into the woo experience.
Okay,
that,
tell us.
Love
please.
Into the Woo.
Really? Okay. People really like me telling this. Okay, I'm gonna say I do not know for a fact that this man was what he claimed to be. I have a story about this man that I met who claimed to be an Anunnaki.
Oh,
It's
okay.
really odd.
Give it to us.
Okay, so one day I had to go to court for like a traffic ticket, and afterwards, the Cape Fear River, the same river that I had my first sighting, same one that Chris did. It's the same river here in Wilmington, but it's an hour and a half away from Fayetteville. It's right next to the courthouse where I was at. After I got out of court, I just had a lot on my mind. I decided to walk down to the river, and I was just standing there, just like looking at the water for a minute, just relaxing. And this random guy just came up out of nowhere, and he said, "Hey, I know you." He said, "You're me, and I'm you." And I'm just like, what? And like this guy, he was like light skinned. He had a cane. He was younger. He's like about my age. He had one of those hats, kind of like a fedora type thing or something. He's really animated guy. It's really bizarre. But he says, I know you, you're me, and I'm you. And I'm sitting there thinking like, okay, like this guy is like batshit crazy, And but he came straight to me, and he starts saying some stuff, and I'm about ready to walk away, but like I kind of play along with him for a second. I'm like, oh, are you saying that because like we're all connected? He said, yeah, exactly. And he says something. He tells me, says I'm an Anunnaki. I'm just like, what? And he says, yeah. He says I'm an Anunnaki, and he said some stuff, and I started realizing real quick, like this guy was actually extremely smart. Like, just I could tell by the way he's talking, by the things that he was saying. And I tell him like, man, if that's what you are. I thought that the Anunnaki were bad. And he goes, no. He says, a lot of them are. He said, a lot of them are just mad that you keep this is exactly what he did. He had the cane. said a lot of them don't like the fact that y'all take your gifts and you keep fucking everything up. And he spun his cane around whenever he said that. It was really odd. Like I'm saying, I don't know if this guy was really an Anunnaki, but it's synchronicity things that go with it
Yeah.
that I can't deny. You know, whether people believe this or not, or I believe he was an Anunnaki, I experienced everything I'm telling you. So he takes his cane and he points it up to his son and he goes, "Look at that! Look at how beautiful it is." Then story gets really weird. I mean, the whole thing is weird. He points at his son and then he turns around and almost points the cane at me. He turns around, he's got his cane pointed straight out, and I swear to God, like a dragonfly landed on the tip of his cane immediately, like he sensed it coming or something.
Oh.
And like he goes, "Look, that's a sign." You know, like it lands on it for a second and it starts flying away, and he's like following the dragonfly with his cane. And I'm, you know, this is weirding me out really. He says a few things to me, and then he tells me that they operate in time differently than we do. And I'm like, "What are you talking about, man?" And he tells me to pull out my phone. He said, "I'm going to show you." He said, "Let me see your phone." Put it next to my phone. And I look at it. First I said, like, "Dude, you better not try to take my fucking phone." And I pull it out, and he goes, "Look at what time it is on my phone." And I look at his phone, and I saw the time, and saw my time on my phone. Oh no, I'm sorry. Excuse me. I didn't pull out my phone until after this happened. I'm sorry. He pulled out his phone first, and he said, "Look at the time on my phone." And I look at it, and I'm like, "Okay, like, what are you getting at?" And he hands me his phone, and he says, "Cut it off and cut it back on." And I restart his phone, and when I cut it back on, it had went back 5 minutes. And I'm just like, "How the fuck did you do that, man?" And he just he smiles and he's like, he says, "I can't give away my secrets." And then like I pull out my phone, and my phone had the same exact time. And I'm just like really thrown off. And like as I'm looking at my phone, I've got this tattoo right here. I don't know if you can see this. To say, God, I've got a tattoo right here. You see that, right? Infinity symbol. He sees the tattoo on my arm, and he says, "Let me see that tattoo real quick." And I flip open my arm, and I'm sorry, I want to make sure I don't leave out anything. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Take your
I can't
time,
remember
love.
exactly. Oh yeah, okay. Sorry, I knew it was just something major I was forgetting. He takes his phone and he takes a picture of my tattoo, and I go, I was like, "Dude, what the fuck? What is that for?" And he goes, "Just something to remember you by." And I was like, "Well, dude, if you're a fucking Anunnaki, why would you even need that?" And he goes, "Really, I just want to make sure it sticks." And then right after he said that, a siren to an ambulance goes off, and he goes, "That's my sign. I need to leave." And he just walks away. And I'm literally standing there just weirded out. And I said out loud, I was like, "What the fuck just happened?" So the next day after this happened, I call Chris Jr., Chris Plexo Jr., and I'm sitting here telling him about this. And he's like, "Dude, that's so fucking weird." Whenever I tell him about the tattoo part, he goes, "Whoa." He's like, "Josh, look at your phone. I'm about to send you something. It's about to get weirder." He sends me a picture. He's got an infinity symbol tattoo on his upper arm. And I didn't know this because I hadn't seen Chris in person for a little while before when this happened. And it's an infinity symbol, but it's the Ouroboros, the snake that's eating itself.
Mm-hmm.
That
Circle of life.
weird, yeah. So that like really weirded me out because I never told anybody this, but I got this infinity symbol tattoo on my honeymoon with my ex-wife, and I was planning on changing this, covering up with your Ouroboros as the infinity symbol tattoo, just like Chris Bledsoe Jr. had. And then on top of
Wow.
this, on top of this, I find out that he came to Wilmington, an hour and a half away from Fayetteville, where he lives, a few years back, and he got that tattoo done in a tattoo shop that was less than half a mile from where I was at the river right there.
Wow.
Yeah, that just blew my mind. I couldn't believe it. It's still weird as hell to me. And like I
Yeah.
said, I'm not saying this guy wasn't Anunnaki, but maybe I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if he was being channeled or what. It's just so too many coincidences.
There's too many coincidences, 100%.
Still weirds me out. What's that say?
So this guy
This
had
guy
some really
has really intense experiences.
Yeah, I used to. I didn't tell that story for a long time because I thought it was just really out there, but it happened. Whether he
Mhm.
was what he said he was, that happened, and the synchronicities, they were there.
100%. It sounds like you are honestly like just on the very beginning of your journey, and I feel like you're just going to have so many more experiences and have so many more sightings that are like in your future. And I'm really excited for all of those things to happen to you.
Yeah, he's not slowed down. It's sped up actually.
No, exactly. That's what I mean. Like this is where you're like, it's like, woo, everything's going to get very real very quickly. And it has been, it sounds like.
Mhm. Definitely. Yeah, it was around like November and a little bit of December. That was the one time where I had like a little dry spell, whatever, where I didn't see anything. And then
Mhm.
it's because I was dealing with a lot of personal stuff. But other than that, is not slow down. It's yeah, I've had other people see him with me. Um, a girl I was talking to a little while back, she saw one with me. There's two little orange orbs that were one was sitting here, one was like above it, and they both faded away after she pointed them out. And both looked at me, they both vanished. And she's like, she didn't know anything about this. She was like, "What the hell was that?" And I just started laughing, and she got really weirded out. And I didn't want to just like shatter her reality and tell her, everything. Um, I don't know. I just told her it's a phenomenon. She said, "What does that mean?"
Wait, what?
I told her, I said, you really don't want me to get into it. I said, for one, it would take me hours to tell you. Yeah, I've had such a good time here telling you all this.
Yeah, Josh, you know what? Thank you so much for coming. And like I said, like I want you to come back as you have more experiences and talk to us about them more because like I said, I don't think that they're slowing down anytime soon for you. I think you're just going to have more and more, and I feel like you're going to have more and more opportunities to document and keep track of all these things that are happening to you.
Hmm. And I do have like a little cold right now, so if that was noticeable, sorry.
Oh, no, you're fine.
No.
Yeah,
Not
it's
at
been fun.
all.
All right, so I
Thanks
just
for
want to
clearing
tell
that for
everyone
him.
in the chat right now that we do have Josh's link down in the bottom of this description. We have his Twitter and we have his YouTube down there for you guys. So you guys can go and please subscribe to him and follow him on Twitter so you guys can see his show and you guys can follow all of his updates and updates on this incredible story that is, still in progress.
Can I
Journey.
say something? Can I
Yeah,
say something about
absolutely. Of
the channel?
course.
The channel real quick. First off, I started doing this channel just because I love talking to other people about their experiences. And like it started out, kind of weirded me out and went through a freak out phase, but now, and I never planned on any of this happening. I just started getting on here and it just all kind of fell into place. Just,
Yep.
just meeting all these people and, I love hearing it. And I feel like we're all just puzzle pieces, just trying to figure this out. So I wanted to announce like a couple of guests that I have coming on.
Yeah, please.
So I believe, I think February 4th. I need to look. I have Cherry Lovelace coming on.
Nice.
Yeah. This Sunday actually. I have Wayne and my mind went blank. Michigan Paranormal or Michigan UFO and Paranormal. They're
Very
going to be
nice.
on him and his wife. Barbara Jean Lindsay. She's going to be on Valentine's Day.
Ooh.
And there's somebody else I'm forgetting right now, but I'll update y'all.
Yeah,
Cool.
absolutely. You have
That
some
lineup.
very cool guests coming up. I love it.
And I'd love to get you two on there sometime.
Anytime, babes. You know that. Talk to us in the DMs. We'll schedule some
Mhm.
stuff.
For sure. But man,
I've been talking
you're
to
on the
Ben
journey.
from Ben and Joe from UFO Garage. I plan on getting them on sometime
Oh,
soon.
yes,
Just talking to
100%.
them
You have
That'll be
to.
fun.
Yeah, they were the first channel that I ever went on myself, so I got to get them on.
Fun time with them.
Fun times. All right, my loves. We are going to end Abduction Hotline here. I love you guys all so much. Josh, thank you so much for coming on and just like opening it up and like being
Seriously.
honest and telling your experiences. Like that's what this whole show is about. Like it's just a safe, open space to just like let out all the things that have happened to you without, having like a bunch of questions or judgment or things like that. Because I think sometimes you just need to talk about it and you just need people around you who understand exactly what you're talking about.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Well, just subbed. Well, just so
Oh, get it,
Thank you.
get it.
Josh.
Thank you. Mhm.
Yes,
Thank you
everyone,
so much.
please go follow Josh.
go
on the
follow
Trippy
Josh.
Time podcast.
And we will see you guys later tonight. We have another butt stuff coming on. And I believe next week we'll be having a live abduction hotline. So you guys in the chat will be able to StreamYard in. We'll do a whole show. I believe we're going to do that on like Thursday or something like that. So we love you guys all. We'll see you guys on the
Love
next
you all
stream.
so much. Thank you.
Bye.
And thank you again, Josh.
Yeah,
Bye-bye.
thank you, Josh.
No problem.